introduced is a brick rule, and I think it's a dumbass rule. But the whole point of a rule is you have to be. I swear to God, is that flipping milk or who's making this flipping noise?
No, no, no.
Okay, so yeah, guys, mute your mic if you're not speaking, please, so we don't hear the noise. So my take here is this: it's very simple. The ball hits Trent Alexander Arnold's hand.
Yep.
It's hit his hand in the first instance, and it's hit his hand in the second instance. It's hit his hand twice. So by the letter of the law, Kimpembe was punished. Several other guys were punished. They were all punished when the ball hit their hand. So I feel that by the letter of the law, it should have been a handball. So my question is this: this is why I bring in VAR. Why wasn't VAR looked at? Even if they had gone and even if they had scored and everything, that should have been a point in which somebody in the VAR booth should have looked at it and say, "Yo, something is up here. Let's look at this." So that's my take. So let me just get to guys. So my take is this: I wouldn't give it if I was a referee. I think the rule is stupid, and I wouldn't give those things as handball for Alexander Arnold because it wasn't with intent. But by the rules that we've been playing it this season, and the reason why PSG got to knocked out by Boychester Divided was because of that flipping rule. And I feel that by the letter of the law, it should have been a handball. So Ahmed, where do you stand on those handball things for Trent Alexander Arnold?
So for the first one, they say like I've seen looking at the images that it seemed to have gone off of Silva's arm first anyway.
The
Which,
second one.
and remember, I mean that's the yeah that one. It went off his arm anyway, and let's remember, according to the rules, an attacker, it doesn't matter if it hits his hand in any way, it's quote unquote a handball according to the new rules. So it shouldn't matter how it hit Silva's arm. It should be a handball against him, against Manchester City. So you can see, I mean, and VAR, I think the implementation of VAR is, I mean, why doesn't the referee go look at the monitor? Like in other leagues, where they go look at the monitor? Well, how come in the Premier League, the referee doesn't go look at the monitor himself? How come they don't show what's happening? I mean, like, they don't do it that often. Like, Michael Oliver should have gone, he himself should have gone and looked at it. I think that would have been better to get a referee's perspective and to see, it doesn't show you what they're looking at either. Like, you don't see what VAR is looking at in the Premier League. And I think that's the issue. Fans aren't involved. Fans don't get like in the stadium. They don't see what's happening. Watching it on TV, you don't quite see the VAR perspective or the referee's perspective. And I think that's stupid. But for the handball, yeah, it went off Silva's hand first, and the other one, it's arguable how that one happened. But if it was a penalty, I mean, it wasn't given, and I think Guardiola shouldn't. You can't live and die by that penalty decision, which I've heard you say, but I think it's true. You can't live and die by that one penalty decision.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Hazem, thoughts on the two penalty calls on Trent?
Yeah. So for yeah, for the first one, I'll say that it was a clear penalty. The one where the first Trent's handball, that was 100% clear penalty, and I don't see anything wrong with the rule book. I think it doesn't matter if you're hitting it with intent or not. You're literally blocking the cross. So it doesn't matter if you have intent or not intent, or time to react or not time to react. You're blocking the cross with your hands, and you're not meant to be doing that. So obviously, it should be a penalty, it, especially that the hand was extended away from the body completely. So it wasn't even close to the body. I don't know how they didn't give that, but it looks like the VAR room made a mistake, or they're just not using VAR well enough, or the refs themselves don't have a proper understanding of the rule book, and that seems to be a common theme in the Premier League referees in recent this year with the new implementation of VAR. And obviously, this is gonna happen. This happened with every single league where in the first year of VAR, it takes time for the refs to adapt to it. It takes time for the league to adapt to it. With the Serie A, when it was last season, was the first year of VAR. It was also many wrong, not using it enough, and many wrong calls. But it gets better, and overall VAR it just helps a lot. So I'll say it's a wrong call by the refs. And the second one, people are saying it hit Bernardo Silva's hand. Uh, so yeah, I just would have given it as a handball for Bernardo Silva in that case. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Liverpool with everybody thoughts on the two handball calls.
Twice. Both were penalties, stone cold. And I'm just happy that this year Liverpool have enough money to buy the refs. I'm so proud. I'm happy that we
Thank
finally
you.
get to do that.
Finally.
So happy. Yeah, so happy about that. Yep.
No, see. That's why I like Liverpool. Everybody, he is 100% cold, hard, honest. He's not a fan merchant, man. Honesty is the key. Mane, thoughts on the
100%.
two calls?
There were obvious penalties. I mean, even the first one, if you say it touched Bernardo, for me, it didn't look like it touched his hand. He chested it, and it might hit his upper shoulder. That's it. But even then, if the referee played advantage, the second one would still be a penalty if valid. And I didn't see any Liverpool players complaining about that. So I don't think it really touched his hand. People were saying that, but it didn't. So the first one was definitely a penalty. It touched Arnold's hands, and the second one, where Sterling was going, that as well was a penalty to me. So I don't know, with these rule changes every week, it seems like it's a different. Is this a penalty? Is that a penalty? Do they even know what's going on? Or as some people have said, that maybe they're afraid of overruling the other referee, so they just keep quiet. Even though in the back of their minds they know that should have been a penalty, they just try to stay consistent. But it's just disgraceful, honestly. And these are the things that it makes you kind of wish VAR was not there. I think the game would be better off with these without these decisions that just keep going, that ruin the Champions League final, ruin the quarterfinals last season. Now it's ruining the Premier League. So I think they should just test it out in the U21s or whatever. But I guess we're too late into it. But it's just another good game ruined by terrible, terrible VAR.
Okay, Rahimski.
Oh man, honestly, I thought about this for a while. VAR, I don't think it's fully ready, man. If it's not fully ready, it's
Wait, but
definitely
it's
not.
it's works really well at the World Cup. Remember the South Korea Germany game? That was an iconic moment for VAR. But I get where you're going from.
That was that was the shining moment of VAR. I get you, but I think overall, if you look at the span of VAR and the decisions that have happened and how it's affected the enjoyment of not only the fans but the players as well, you can tell the players sometimes are furious. Like after celebrating an amazing goal that would have stood a year ago, now it doesn't stand because of all these rule changes, and it's just ruining the beauty and the simplicity of the game. Like football is nice because it's simple in a way. It's enjoyable. That's a goal. That isn't a goal. These are all things we should know. We shouldn't have to question if it's a goal or not. So, man, it's for me, it's ruining football. And when it comes to the game, I agree with what Mane said for the most part, except for the Trent stuff. But yeah,
All right, Red.
Uh, like to be honest with you, looking at the game afterwards and seeing the response and all that, I don't know if it's if both were clear cut because I know one of them. The people say that it was off Bernardo's hand. My only criticism of VAR is please clarify these plays. Even if you let the play continue, let a commentator in the VAR room that he can clarify. So at least for the fans, when we're watching it, be like, okay, so that wasn't a handball because it came off of Bernardo Silva, and show us a replay when the ball's out of bounds and we can understand it. All we want is just clarity. That's the thing is like because honestly, when you're watching the game in real time, you don't capture everything. You're just watching. It's very fast flowing, and possibly it could have came off of Bernardo's head before it hit Trent's. All we ask for is just clarity, and that way, when the game is done, it's done. You understand it. You know what's going on. The full game was broken down during the 90 minutes. Because we have 50 minutes halftime. Why don't they just explain the VAR decisions, like why this wasn't considered, why this wasn't considered, what happened here? They don't go over that. They just literally, because when that first handball incident happened, the first 5 minutes, the play just continued real quick. The City players were yelling at the ref. Play continued. Liverpool scored. At that point, you can't go back and overrule that goal because now Liverpool's goal is clean because the play continued. But now you have an instance where, like afterwards, the referee didn't explain his decision. Why didn't you give the handball there? I personally think, like UHH, I think that handball is stupid. The handball rule is stupid because at that point you're just making it so vague that you can give it whenever you want and not give it whenever you want. Because even for, let's say, for example, I'm going to give an instance in La Liga where the same thing happened for Madrid. Against the Real Betis game, it was a clear handball. Barca had the same instance yesterday against Celta Vigo. They got it called. Madrid didn't get it called. It's weird, and they didn't even take it to VAR with the Madrid situation. The only league, well, actually 2 leagues that are using VAR well is Serie A and the Champions League. Those are the only 2 where I see the implementation of VAR actually. You notice the difference. The ref actually goes to the screen. They add the extra time properly. Well, yeah, we all know that. No, we're joking, bro. It's all jokes. But no, but like seriously, like if any of you just actually watch VAR implemented it in Serie A, honestly, they implemented the best out of Europe's top 5 leagues. In Spain, it's been mediocre. In England, it's been the worst. In England, I don't even know if it doesn't even seem like they have VAR. It just seems when it's ever convenient for them to use it. But Champions League and Serie A, they've used it the best. So, yeah, my criticism is not like on the penalties themselves. I just want the clarity around the penalties. Just clear it up for us fans so we know when we're watching what's a penalty and what's not. It doesn't make sense for people like us who have watched football for years and we're arguing over a penalty rule, the most basic rule. Like this, we used to always consider it easy. Intentional handball, penalty. Non-intentional handball, not a penalty. Nowadays, we don't know. Exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what a penalty is and what isn't a penalty. So, yeah, that's my thought.
Okay. Salim. Okay, Munzaha, hit it, Munzaha.
Yes.
Okay, Salim, talk.
Yeah, first of all, the first one, everybody ignoring the Silva's handball. It's the attacker. I mean, specifically the rules state that if attacker doesn't have to be deliberate, if attacker touches with his own hand, that's a handball. I don't know why they didn't give Liverpool a free kick. We have to ask that to the ref. And the second one, Trent is in natural position. His hand is not. His hand is not away. His hand is tucked in, and he hits the ball in his hand. That's a natural position. The ref was right there, and he said no penalty. And everybody's ignoring where against Man United, Mane scored the same way handball, and it was called a handball because it didn't matter. He was an attacking player who used his hand and he scored. And everybody's going off VAR. I think it's not the VAR problem. It's the human who's using VAR. Because humans make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So the ref need more time, more training to understand what they're doing and how to follow the rule book. So I think we'll probably see more differently than next year than this year. So we just got to live by it now.
Okay. And round us off, Muntaha. Thoughts on the 2 calls, Muntaha?
Yeah, bro. So I think so, bro. That wasn't a handball. The reason I'll tell you that. First of all, it hit the flipping Bernardo Silva hand. Okay, just for a hypothetical understanding. Okay, let's assume that Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva has passed the ball to Aguero, and Aguero somehow would have scored that goal. Still, it would be considered as in VAR, and the goal would be cancelled because at the end of the day, attacker has touched the ball. Because according to current rule of handball and all those things, it's like once the attacker touched the ball, it's a foul. It's a free kick. Like the thing is, what Man City is not getting the flipping penalty or else the goal will be cancelled. That's for sure, 100%. So you know what? It will be given free kick to Liverpool, and I can see that. Oh yes, there is something suspect. They should have cancelled the goal. They should have given free kick to Liverpool, which didn't happen, and I agree with that. But with the second foul, I don't think so. It was a foul. I mean, it was a handball because Trent hand was like touched to his body, and as Salim said, it's a natural position, so it's not a handball. Now, implementation of VAR has been, implemented in such a horrible manner, bro, in Premier League. I don't understand why. Like, there's been so much confusion with VAR. For the referees, they hesitate to give, VAR decision whenever they're playing in the home team against the home team. When like I've seen so many times in Premier League, like this season, I mean. So why it's such case like that, So referees should be given more support from the governing bodies or like FA, English FA, that you should be a bit more harsh. And when there's a call, you should go to the flipping screen instead of thinking, or just waiting for that. And lastly, my problem with VAR is it's not about technology. Of course, technology will improve the game, improve the dynamics of game. Like it will be more precise game instead of errors or mistakes and something like that. But the thing is, what it's completely implemented in the wrong way, because we don't know the guidelines. There is no specific guidelines when to give VAR, when to go for the call or not. There is nothing. For offside, we don't have it. Okay, for offside, it's clear. But for the handball, for the goal, we don't know this thing. And like right now, if you'll see, Champions League has implemented the best VAR right now. At least for the sake of it's better than the rest of the leagues. So I think so it can be improved as time goes on, and I think so they will improve a lot.